Hello, creative friends. My name is Kay Jett, and I am a coffeeholic. Anything coffee related that Stampin' Up has, I've got to add it to my stash. And so today I'm going to share with you a project made with the Latte Love that's part of the new online exclusives that you will be able to order starting on March 5th, Tuesday. But before I get started with that, I also want to let you know that today is the absolute last day of celebration. And it's also the last day to join my team, the Creative Artists. And so they have a great joining deal out right now until the end of the evening. And you can earn your glass mat as well as $125 worth of supplies for only $99. Plus, you get a free paper pumpkin kit. You get to share in some of the fun activities that are in the Paper Chefs, which is my upline. And we just have a great time sharing our love of stamping. So don't miss out on celebration. Besides, for every $50 you order, you can get free stuff. We always love free stuff. But again, my name is Kay Jett. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator with the Stampin' Up company. And I'm sharing with you a project from the Latte Love suite, and wanted to share with you some of the papers. I love when I get coffee and they've done something artsy on top of the coffee. It's always a challenge to try to drink it and not mess up the design. But we'll be playing with this paper next time. On the back side, you have coffee cup stains, which, being a coffeeholic, I get a lot of those. Coffee beans, and a wonderful plaid using Calypso Coral, Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, and Petal Pink, which are some of the coordinating colors in this suite. Here's some wonderful coffee cups. Now, these cannot be cut out with the with the dies, but you can cut them out if you've got a scan and cut. But they're not that hard to cut out just by fussy cutting with your scissors. On the back of that, very small coffee cups and spoons. Of course, we've got splatters. Have to have splatters when you're drinking coffee. And a wonderful Lost Lagoon stripe on the back side. We're going to be using some of this today. And of course, this one's beautiful, working in the pecan pie and the petal pink. And on the back are the wonderful designs people can make on top of their coffees. And then here it is in pecan pie and early espresso. And again, fun Calypso Coral with more coffee beans. So hopefully I've piqued your interest, and you'll want to get online and order this or any of several other new products coming out on the 5th of March through the online exclusives. So we're going to be using the Latte Love stamp set and die set, as well as the deckled rectangles. Let's go over our supplies. Our cardstock is 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Lost Lagoon, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Mat 1 is 1 inch by 5 3/8 inch of early espresso with a DSP of 7/8 inch by 5 1/4 inch. Mat 2 is 2 3/4 inches by 3.5 inches with a DSP of 2 5/8 inches by 3 3/8 inches. Mat 3 is 3 inches by 3.5 inches of early espresso with DSP of 2 7/8 inches by 3 3/8 inches. And then the inside also has a mat of 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches of early espresso with basic white cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So I'll leave those up so you can take a peek at those. And I haven't showed you the card yet. So here's our easy to do card, but I'm using some of the embossing paste to make the steam coming up from the coffee. And so I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Also added some Wink of Stella on the spoon as well as on top of the coffee itself to make it look wet. There's also some coordinating gems that go with the little latte suite. So I've added those as well. It says, hello there, let's catch up. And then on the inside, you are the best part of my day. It looks like I've picked up my coffee. So let's start creating our card. Oh, one more thing. I also have a scrap of cardstock for the stencil and a scrap of basic white for stamping and die cutting. So let's start decorating the front. Actually, let's start with the inside and get that done. We've got some stamping to do on it. And I'm going to use the early espresso to stamp the sentiment as well as the coffee smear. You're the best part of my day. And the coffee smears, one of the stamps in the Latte Love stamp set. Give it some time to work its way in. And then we'll use the Memento black ink for the spoon because I want to color it in with a little Stampin' blends. Okay. And I'm using the light smoky slate to color in the spoon. And when I do my coloring, I like to work my marker in small circles. That way I don't manage to get the streaks that I can sometimes get working with these alcohol markers. Okay, and then we'll put a little Wink of Stella on that. And right now these are not available, but I hope you can find some somewhere because they're a wonderful little glitter pen. They also come in colors, but personally I prefer the one that doesn't have colors, so it doesn't ruin the color of what I've just managed to color. So, but it still adds the extra little bit of bling. Okay, we'll glue that into Glue that onto our inside mat with a little liquid glue. And these mats are sized so that we only get a very skinny border, about 1/16 of an inch. So here, perfect. And then let's sit that inside of our card, and the inside will be done. Here we go. And the inside of our card is done. So we're going to start with mat number 1. And we'll glue the DSP onto the cardstock. And then we'll glue that to the edge of our card. And we're just putting that right up against the edge practically, leaving about a 1/16 inch reveal. Our next will be the coffee beans. And we'll glue the coffee beans on. And this goes up here in the other corner. We can go ahead and glue the DSP down to mat 3. And then I'm going to do some decorating on mat 3, and then we'll pop that up on dimensionals. And that I seem to have cut a bit long. So I'm going to have to do a little trimming there. either cut my mat too short or my DSP too long. Managed to salvage it. Okay, let's get our scrap of basic white to do our stamping. And I'm going to use the Memento Black ink because I'm going to be coloring again. And we're going to do the coffee mug. And then we'll cut the coffee mug out with one of the dies from the same set, Latte Love. Also want a spoon for the front of the card. And then with the Early Espresso, I'll stamp the sentiment as well as put some coffee in our mug. So let's get the coffee in there first. And then our sentiment is low there. Let's catch up. I have too many friends I need to do that with. Okay. So then again, I'll color the spoon with the light smoky slate, and we'll color the coffee cup in the light Lost Lagoon so it matches our card. And then I'm going to add some Wink of Stella, both to the spoon as well as to my coffee. There. I'm not sure if you can tell. Puts a little glitter in there, so it has that wet look on the coffee and then that silvery look to the spoon. Okay, get our dies out here, so we'll be ready to die cut. Let me start with this one. This is the smallest of the deckled rectangles that I'll use on the sentiment. And I like to use the Post-it tape because it holds things in place and I don't have to worry about shifting. Then line up the coffee die. And the spoon die. And then this is small enough I can send it through my smaller cut and emboss machine. Now I want to tilt it just a little bit because of the deckled rectangle. It'll run through a little smoother if I'm not going at it straight on. So this is the small cut and emboss machine. Runs through fairly smooth. And then it's a lot faster than having to cut everything out by hand. And then I'll undo those and get them put away quickly. So here's our mat 3. And I'm going to glue because we're going to put the mat 3 on dimensionals, I'm going to go ahead and glue the coffee and the spoon to the surface. There. Now, the new thing I was going to share with you today is called Embossing Paste. And you can get this from the annual catalog. And then to use it, you want a set of palettes or knives that you can get in there and smear it on. Basically, you're going to be spreading it on top of our on top of our card here. But first I'm going to make a stencil with just a scrap of cardstock. It doesn't have to be black or brown, it could be any color at all. But I'm going to cut a series of S's or curved lines so it looks like steam coming off of my coffee. And so they don't have to be drawn on before we place them, because we're just going to make it look kind of organic when we smear the paste on top of it. Oh, and I'm going to use my mat here in case I need to wipe off my knife. And I want to hold down these bottom edges because I really don't want the paste to go down beyond my stencil. And we don't need much, but it's like buttering your bread. I want to pretty much smear it on and then smooth it off with the knife. And then when I lift my stencil, I have steam coming up. You want to let this dry before you do too much to it. But it's fun material to use. They also make this embossing paste with a sparkle to it, and I've not played with that yet. I can hardly wait to do so. I've seen some things done, but it's fun stuff. I wanted it to look somewhat see-through, which it is, but I didn't want to use vellum because that's always such a challenge to get it to glue on without showing where the glue has been. So we'll let that dry. And then I always keep this in the bag that it came in so it doesn't dry out on me. It's not something I go through very fast. So I'll let that set for a while. And then my sentiment, I'm going to also pop up on dimensionals. And this will, not upside down, this will go at the top. And make sure I've got it straight, and I don't. There. And then I'll carefully put some dimensionals on the back of this. And it gets set almost centered, a little bit towards the bottom. Okay, and our card is finished. Hello there, let's catch up. You're the best part of my day. Well, hopefully you've learned something today and you will give the embossing paste a try. I really enjoy using it when I come up with the ideas. And just want to let you know that I hope you're creative every day, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.